Hey everybody, hope this finds you doing well. This is Networkchain. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. A lot of big stories over the past week. We see Bitcoin currently on a little bit of a run over the past 7 days, up about 6%. It's currently trading at $64,518. We have Ethereum just below 1700, up about 7%. We have BNB up 6%, XRP up nearly 5% at $1.15. Solana still under $70, but it is up 10% over the past week. We have Hyperliquid in the top 10, still hanging on at $60.90. Then we have Dogecoin, the largest meme coin of them all, currently trading still under 9 cents, but it's up 7% over the past week. So if we look at the Bitcoin chart, we can see we're still on a downward trend, definitely still in a bear market from where we were in October of 2025. So we still have some work to do to get back to those levels, and it could take some time. So bear with this asset. It definitely has its moments, and we can see that we're still on the downward trend. A lot of people are speculating whether or not we'll actually get down to this $50,000 level. That's definitely possible. A lot of people are calling that 60,000 is the bottom, 58, 59,000 is the bottom. Obviously, time will tell, but just generally speaking, as we always talk about, at least over these last several videos, is that we are definitely still in a bear market. So don't be surprised if we still have some downside to go, but we did have a nice positive uptick over the last couple of days. One of the largest stories of the week, maybe the largest story of the week, is the opening of SpaceX on the public markets. It's opened on NASDAQ, and it came in with a over $1.77 trillion market cap value. The IPO price was $135. It actually opened up above that at around $150 at around noon on Friday, June 12th of 2026. And we can see here, this is just the hourly chart. It reached all the way up to $176, and this officially made, actually even when it opened, the first trillionaire has now been created in the world. So now Elon Musk, who is the founder of SpaceX, he owns about somewhere between 40 and 50% of SpaceX. So he is currently now a trillionaire when you consider his holdings in SpaceX as well as Tesla. It puts him over $1 trillion. And what's so fascinating is if you look at the assets by market cap, and as well as the companies by market cap, you can see that it would put him just individually around Micron's market cap right now. So it's pretty amazing that we have the first trillionaire. Obviously, people have their own opinions about that, but he has, and his companies have created a lot of wealth for a lot of other people. There's been plenty of millionaires and even billionaires, particularly from this IPO SpaceX, that have been created now that it's hit the open market. Now, we do have to be considerate of the value and whether it's worth a $2.1 trillion value market cap right now. It has much less revenue that has come in when you consider some of the other major companies that it is ahead of, like Meta, for example. Broadcom also has made a lot more revenue on an annual basis. SpaceX is still not profitable. They still are putting in a lot of money to try to build what many consider to be very ambitious projects, including putting data centers into space and potentially colonizing other planets. So that's obviously a big project, multiple projects that Elon Musk and the team there at SpaceX are really looking forward to trying to achieve, but it could take several years, maybe even decades, before they do some of the things that they have intimated that they want to try to do in the near future. So if you're interested in investing in the company, make sure you have a general understanding of some of the metrics when it comes to fundamentals with some of these companies, and why a company like Nvidia is ranked number one and has the highest market cap, because they continue to have growth, they continue to bring in a ton of revenue, and they are putting out a product that is being used and is creating profitability for other companies as well when we look at the general AI infrastructure that's continuing to be built right before our eyes. So anyway, SpaceX also, when it became public, as you can see here, it's a $2 trillion company. It is basically the same size as the entire cryptocurrency market cap. So we see, obviously, we're in a down market right now, where we consider one company is larger than the entire asset class of digital assets. It just gives you an idea and a comparison of how big this IPO was. Also, when we look at where SpaceX is now ranked amongst Bitcoin corporate holdings, they are the number 8 company with the most Bitcoin in the top 10 at over 18,700 Bitcoin. And if you consider SpaceX and Tesla combined, and there's a lot of rumors that at some point SpaceX and Tesla will eventually combine, then that would put them in the number 5 slot behind Bitcoin miner Mara Holdings. So we see that Musk and his team are very forward thinking. They have been in Bitcoin for several years now. SpaceX bought Bitcoin several years ago, as well as Tesla. Tesla actually ended up selling a large chunk of their Bitcoin holdings, and they still would be up if they just decided to go ahead and keep it at the time. But they, regardless, still have a large amount of Bitcoin as well on the balance sheet. So we're still seeing companies, public companies, that are coming onto the space with Bitcoin on the balance sheet, and some continuing to add to their Bitcoin stash. Inflation, when it comes to dollars versus Bitcoin, no matter what, we continue to see inflation happening. It's continuous. We've talked about the inflation numbers. The latest read was over 4% inflation, which is basically double what the U.S. Federal Reserve had as their target number when the last federal chair was in office. We now have a new federal chair that is going to be addressing the country. I believe it's sometime this week, actually. So we'll hear from him to see what some of the policies are going to be. Inflation continues to be an issue, as you can see here. Over the last 30 years, $1,000, when you consider inflation, is now worth double at $2,122. So anything that you could buy for $1,000 back then, you would need $2,000 today to be able to buy that same item. So we see here, if we look at the chart, look at $1,000 and adjusted for inflation over the last 30 years, you can see how much it's gone up over time. And that's the thing, inflation doesn't stop. We have now reached an all-time high when it comes to M2 money supply, and that is the money that is out in circulation. And we know that fiat currencies, they are regulated by central banks. There's more currencies that can be put out into circulation. So when that happens, that obviously lessens the purchasing power, that lessens the strength of that particular currency. And obviously we see that here, where $1,000 is not $1,000 anymore. You can't buy what $1,000 used to in 1996 compared to now in 2026. You need basically double that. So we need to find ways to be able to combat this average inflation rate, which is anywhere between 2 and 3%. And so we're looking at assets that are finite. We're looking at hard assets like Bitcoin. We're looking at investing into some of the top companies in the world that also increase over and have a compounded annual growth rate that's above 2 to 3% compounded annually. So these are the types of things that we're looking for to continue to find ways to provide generational wealth, not even generational wealth, but just to be able to keep up. We have to be able to find ways to make our dollar work for us. So just continue to stay tuned here at Networkchain. We really appreciate you checking us out here on YouTube every week, as well as on X and IG. We post there nearly every day. And of course, just make sure that you continue to do your research as we continue to do the same, and we learn together. We look forward to linking up with you soon on the Networkchain. In the meantime, take care. Bye-bye.